one of the most popular musical instruments, and if you really get a peek inside of it, you will notice that it is one of the most complex instruments, and that's because it falls into two classifications of percussion and string. So I'm going to let you draw your own conclusion, and we're going to look a little deeper about this great instrument. So let's do this. The piano has strings inside of it, but it also has a row of keys called hammers that you must hit in a rhythmatic form. The piano is considered to be in the chordophones category, and if you remember in the history of string instruments, in which the link is above if you want to check out that video, chordophones are instruments that produce sounds by strings that are stretched from one point to another. But let's go to a different type of phone. And remember that the end of the word phono means sound and voice. Electrophones are instruments that produce electronic sounds, and idiophones are instruments that vibrate to produce sounds. And membranophones, they are instruments that produce sounds by using a vibrating membrane. But the piano also belongs to the percussion family of musical instruments. Instruments in the percussion family make music when they are struck, shaken, or scraped. This applies to the musical instruments that are played by striking or shaking them, such as drums, xylophones, marimbas, and others. The piano stands out from the rest of the percussion family because it can also be played by pressing keys that correspond to different notes on the keyboard. Furthermore, the piano strings are struck by hammers rather than directly as they would be with a drum, giving the player more control over the dynamics and tone of the music. But stop. Let's quickly review the timeline and progression of this instrument. Let's do it. The harpsichord was invented in the 12th century, and it was created by adapting the plucking of string instruments. This instrument rose to prominence in the Renaissance and Baroque eras and was fully developed by the 16th century. The primary musical instrument of the classical and romantic periods was the piano, and it was not invented till considerably later in the 18th century. Now, the organ developed the most out of all the instruments between the early Middle Ages and the 17th century. Initially, sound was introduced into the pipes by pulling back sliders or pushing down levers. Both of these techniques were kind of awkward. They eventually led to smaller levers that could be depressed with the fingers, while the bigger pipes were managed by pedals. Separating the numerous pipe rows was another advancement that allowed each row to be activated or inhibited by the means of a draw stop. Once a manageable keyboard had been produced, it could be applied to the portable organ, which was carried by the player, and this was already in use by the 12th century. The invention of the clavichord, an instrument with a wide range of strings in an organ-like keyboard, came after scientific research with the monochord, a stretched string that could be cut into different lengths using a metal tangent. Now, it's strange that the dulcimer, which was struck with hammers, was not played using the similar techniques until like the 18th century, when the Italian manufacturer Bartolomeo Cristofori created the first pianoforte. The instrument was so named because, unlike the harpsichord, it could adjust the tone from soft to loud. Cristofori of Italy invented the piano because he was unsatisfied with the lack of control that musicians had over the volume level of the harpsichord. He is credited for switching out the plucking mechanism with a hammer to create the modern piano in around the year 1700. So in conclusion, as you know, a hammer strikes the piano strings when it is struck, causing them to vibrate and make the sound. And the sounds are produced by the strings vibrating at various lengths and tensions, which results in varied pitches. The strings are stretched across a frame. Only by pressing certain keys and engaging the hammers can you play the piano. And even while the strings produce the music, making it a string instrument, they only can do so when they are struck, making it a percussion instrument. Now I'm curious to know what you think. What classification do you think the piano falls under? Percussion or strings? Leave a comment. Let's talk about it. Have a great day. Hey, thanks so much for watching. And remember to subscribe, follow, and smash, touch, hit that like button. And remember, don't miss a